Administration has been working around the clock in good faith to reach an agreement with Democrats on additional China virus relief. Already, my administration has enacted over $3 trillion in historic relief, saving many tens of millions of dollars in jobs. And you see how fast the economy is coming back. It does look like it's going to be a very sharp V. We have tremendous enthusiasm, tremendous spirit, and tremendous job growth. We set a record on number of jobs in the last 3 months. It's the most jobs ever created in a 3-month period, during a 3-month period. That's great. Before we begin, I've just signed 2 bills that are great for our vets. Our vets are very special. We passed Choice, as you know, Veterans Choice and Veterans Accountability. And they've been trying to get that passed for decades and decades and decades, and no president's ever been able to do it. And we got it done, so veterans have choice. And now you have accountability that if you don't love your vets, if you're in the VA and you don't love the vets or take care of the vets, you can actually get fired if you don't do your job. We want people that love our vets. The first expands the eligibility for vets with blindness in both eyes. So we have an expansion of benefits, an expansion of various elements of being and working with the VA for vets with blindness and, in particular, blindness in both eyes. And we have a lot of problems with blindness in the VA, and we're doing something about it. They've been talking about this for many years. So that is expanding eligibility for vets with blindness in both eyes, okay? Second is requires the VA to establish a treatment court program for vets who need treatment rather than punishment for certain nonviolent crimes. And you know what that all means, and it's really something that they've been trying to get done for a long time. The second requires the VA to establish a treatment court. So this is a treatment court program for vets who need treatment rather than punishment for certain nonviolent crimes. Okay, I think it's self-explanatory.
Okay, hey guys. Okay,
we've
all
wanted
kinds of
this for a
technical
long
things
time.
today.
They've been trying to
I'm
get it
pause
for a
him
long
for a
time.
second.
And
welcome to the live stream. This is President Trump speaking live from Bedminster, New Jersey, his golf course. He's on his way to a couple of fundraisers in the Hamptons, but he made this surprise announcement. Hey, I'm going to sign a bunch of stuff, and the first one looks like it's specifically for people who are blind in the VA in both eyes. And that's there's a lot of problem with blindness in both eyes in the VA.
now we have it, and I want to thank everybody for helping us get that.
He also took credit for veterinarian choice. Okay, he didn't actually say veterinarian, but anyway.
Had a lot of support from a lot of great people, including people in the VA. In the current negotiations, we have repeatedly stated our willingness to immediately sign legislation providing expanded unemployment benefits, protecting Americans from eviction, and providing additional relief payments to families. Democrats have refused these offers. They want to negotiate. What they really want is bailout money for states that are run.
No, the offers have never been, we will provide full relief. It's a portion of. So $600 the first week, and then $500, and then $300, $200. So no, it's nonsense. And of course, the Democrats aren't going to agree to that.
By Democrat governors and mayors, and that have been run very badly for many, many years and many decades, in fact. You know the states. Everybody knows who we're talking about and what we're talking about. I don't think we have to go over it. But what the Democrats primarily want is bailout money. Has nothing to do with the China virus. It has nothing to do with anything that we've been talking about over the last period of time. They want to bail out states that have been badly managed by Democrats, badly run by Democrats for many years, and in fact, in all cases, many decades. And we're not willing to do that. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have chosen to hold this vital assistance hostage on behalf of very extreme partisan demands, and the radical left Democrats said we just can't do that. So hopefully we can do something with them at a later date, but we're going to be signing some bills in a little while that
they're not bills.
are going to be very important, and we'll take care of
executive orders. They are
pretty
not
much
bills.
this entire situation.
They are not bills.
As we know it, and as you have been covering it, and in some cases actually covering it accurately. Many of the far left policies they're pushing have nothing to do again, with what we have been working on so hard,
You read
namely
this 30
the
seconds
corona. You can call it so many different names. What a
Go to
horrible
the next
thing
page.
China
Turn the page
released
over.
upon the world.
You read this.
1/3 of their bill, the HEROES Act, is spending completely unrelated money to the virus. Here are just a few of the policies in their extreme left bill. And again, this is a bill supported by Biden, and Biden is totally controlled now by the Bernie Sanders left wing of the party, and in fact, he's gone further left than Bernie Sanders ever dreamt of going. So obviously, other than Bernie have brought him left. If you look at the manifesto that they've agreed to,
This is all nonsense.
it's far further left than I've ever heard anything about Bernie Sanders. The massive taxpayer bailout of badly run blue states, we talked about. That's one of the things they're looking to do.
We did talk about
Measures designed to increase voter fraud. Banning voter ID. They want to ban voter ID. We should have voter ID in every state. Every state should have.
You can't ban voter ID until you actually have voter ID. Measures designed to increase voter fraud. That's what's in the manifesto. Hey, you know what we got to do? We should increase voter fraud, especially after 2016.
Voter ID. You have ID on everything you do practically. Everybody has voter ID. Everybody has ID. Except for voters. When you vote, you don't want ID. They don't want it. We have some states with it. It works out great. And if you want to stop fraud in elections, have voter ID. They want measures designed to increase voter fraud, which is banning voter ID in all states and banning requirements for signature verification in federal elections. Now, why would they want?
No, no one is saying ban signature verification.
In this bill, which really has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
There's no bill. What bill is he talking about?
Stimulus, something banning voter ID in every single state. They want to ban it, including.
Oh, the HEROES Act. Yeah, no, okay. Well, I'd have to look through the whole thing, but you know what? I'm just going to go. Normally, I'm all about the facts, but fact this. I'm not going to read the whole bill looking for something that says we need to increase voter fraud.
Including states where we already have it, because we have some states where we have it. Indiana and others that do very well. Why would they want to ban voter ID in all states? And why would they want to ban requirements for signature verification in federal election? Who would want
Elections.
a bill banning signature verification? What's that all about? You know what it's about? Fraud. That's what they want, fraud. They want to try and steal this election because, frankly, it's the only way they can win the election. The bill also requires all states to do universal mail-in balloting, which nobody is.
No, it doesn't.
Nobody's prepared for, regardless of whether or not they have the infrastructure. They want to steal an election. That's all this is all about. They want to steal the election. So in the bill, they have a bill that requires all states to do universal mail-in balloting, regardless of whether or not they have the infrastructure. Like in Nevada, it's such a disaster. Their infrastructure is a total disaster. They don't want to have signature verification. They don't want to have any of the safeguards that you need. And they don't want to have safeguards that are so common and so basic, and even other states that we disagree with have. This Nevada thing is a mess, but we'll see how the courts determine what the courts determine. But they certainly don't have the infrastructure in Nevada. So we'll see how it is. As you know, we brought suit last week, and we'll see how that all works out. I think we're going to win it. But basically what they're trying to do with all of these requirements, including no signature verification, they're trying to steal an election. And I was in Ohio.
Okay, there's no signature verification. What the Democrats in the HEROES bill have suggested is that instead of ID for those people without ID, which there are many, they're allowed to use their signature in a sworn statement verifying their ID. So no photo ID, but they are allowed to then make a sworn statement verifying that they are themselves. And of course, if you do that and you're lying and you're caught, you go to jail for at least 5 years. So that's obviously what did the president know and when did he misunderstand it?
In Texas, I was in Florida over the last 4 or 5 days, and if you would see the crowds along the highways and the roadways, people have said they've never seen anything like it.
And the boats.
And they haven't seen anything like it, and the press
Well,
doesn't report
we need
it
voter ID.
because they're fake news. They even want to force states to implement the controversial
Somebody's
practice
talking.
known as ballot harvesting, very dangerous practice, meaning they would allow Democrat Party operatives to deposit thousands and thousands of completed ballots at the post office without any verification of who filled them out, including a verification of signatures on the ballot.
The verification is inside the envelope. There's barcodes and the signature. So the person bringing the envelopes to the post office should not open up the envelopes and check the signatures. That would be illegal.
So you're not even going to have a verified signature. Anybody, I could sign it, you could sign
No, you send it to the election office and they verify the signature.
it. Anybody in this room could sign it. And that's going
And
to
that
count
would be
as a vote.
and you'd go to jail.
How can you do a thing like this?
I want you to sign
So
it.
this is what they're asking for. This is what Nancy Pelosi and crying Chuck Schumer are asking for. Okay, it's ridiculous. It's
His golf
horrible.
club
It's a
members are in
horrible
there.
thing. The Democrat bill includes
He
stimulus.
called him, Tad, did you hear that? He called him crying Chuck Schumer. How droll.
Checks for illegal aliens. So if you were able to get into our country illegally, and our border is, as you know, doing very well right now. We have a very strong border, and the wall is up to 276 miles, and we'll be completed with it around the end of the year. We're going to do some extra mileage in certain areas that people didn't realize
Who said it's
were
gonna be
so
completed?
bad. So we'll be completed
Yeah.
with it right after. We're going to do the
Will be
additional mileage.
completed
We'll do
with it.
probably
Is
a
that
little bit
English?
after the year. I think from what I've heard, Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe, wants to rip the wall down.
It's on
He
Twitter.
wants people to
but-
pour into our country. They want to have open borders. We don't want to have open borders. So the Democrat bill includes stimulus checks for illegal aliens. They require the mass release of illegal aliens from detention. They also compel the mass
family
release
separation.
of
Yeah.
inmates, including serious felons.
No,
How do you like that one?
not violent felons.
And this is in the bill that we're talking about. What does this have to
Drug-related
do with
offenses,
stimulus, the
et cetera.
economy? What does this have to do with the coronavirus? Know the name?
You can't figure that out in areas where the coronavirus has swept through the prisons. Let the non-violent offenders out temporarily. Put the ankle bracelet on. Keep track of them. Bring them back in anyway.
What does this have to do with this?
It's really simple
So think
to
of
figure
that.
out.
They required the mass release of illegal aliens from detention. What does this have to do with what we're trying to do? They want to put this in. This is a radical left policy so they can go to Portland
Well, I'll tell you what. 160,000 dead Americans. That's what it has to do with the COVID.
and try and rip the place apart that they've been doing for many years. And
Yeah, I
they've
heard
been
that,
doing
Casey.
for
I almost-
years and years.
I almost said China virus, and I was like, wait, I think he just called that the coronavirus.
They also compel the mass release of inmates. What does this have to do with what we're talking about? This is Nancy Pelosi, crazy Nancy, and Chuck Schumer. They want to compel you to do this stuff, and this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, and it includes serious felons. They want to have these people released on a mass basis, including serious felons. That's page 1,689, page 1,762. Think of that. 1,762, and that's nowhere near the end of their bill. They have things in there that nobody has even had the time to look at or read. These people, I honestly don't believe they love our country. You want to know the truth?
Well, you're
In
wrong.
addition to demanding these extreme partisan provisions, Democrats are actively blocking the following measures: support for K-12 schools to help them safely open, additional funding for the Paycheck Protection Program to help
Nonsense.
millions of workers on the payroll. These are
The Democrats want more funding for the schools.
great program, very successful, kept a lot of businesses open. That's why we're doing so well.
They want additional PPP. And part of it is the original PPP package barred anyone with a criminal record from applying for it. So let's say you did your time. Let's say you, voted without ID at some point. So you went to jail. And then you came out of jail and you started up, a company growing avocados. So then you've got 30 employees growing avocados, and the state says, hey, you can't grow avocados right now because of COVID. You can get the PPP money, but not if you've had a criminal record already. So certain criminal records. So part of the bill, the Democrats said, you know what? If you've served your time, if your criminal record is done with, then you should still be able to apply for PPP. But for whatever reason, the Republicans put that in there, even though they're like, oh, second chance and criminal justice and all this other nonsense. For some reason, people with a criminal record couldn't obtain the PPP. So if you happen to work for somebody with a criminal record, you're out of luck. Hit the unemployment rolls. It's totally counterintuitive to his goals. He wants less unemployment, and there's stuff like that in there. Anyway, he doesn't
reopening
get it.
our country. Additional money for hospitals, testing, and vaccines. Direct payments of $3,400 for a family of 4. Now remember, this is what the extreme partisans. This is what we're talking about. Democrats are actively blocking the things that we want. And what we want is good for people. These are things that they're blocking.
They're not actively blocking. He's talking about a bill that was passed more than 2 months ago that has not been voted on in the Senate. Mitch McConnell has not brought that bill, not executive order, that has already been passed. He's not brought it up for a vote. They're not actively blocking it. The Democrats have already passed it in the House. It's passed. It's here you go. Sign it. Let's go to conference. Hammer it out. We'll figure out what to do. Send it up to the president. That's not actively blocking. There's other bills that the Senate has suggested. Hey, what if we give everybody $600? That sounds great. We'll sign it. No. $600 for 3 days. And then it goes down to $200 after a couple of weeks. How about that? No, we're not going to do.
Support for K-12 schools so they can open.
No.
Think of that.
I'm thinking of it. It's not true.
Also, direct payments of the $3,400 for a family of 4 plus. Then funding for child care and mental health care. And you need that, especially when you
He just read the exact same sentence twice.
have so much of a lockdown.
Uh-huh.
You need that. Mental health care. Funding for broadband, airports, and agriculture. Rental assistance, and support for community banks and credit unions to help them provide $100 billion in loans to the hardest hit communities, including rural communities and farmers. They don't want anybody to get that. Democrats are obstructing all of it. Therefore, I'm taking executive action. We've had it. And we're going to save American jobs and provide relief to the American workers, that I'll be signing these bills in a very short period of time. First one is I'm providing a payroll tax holiday to Americans earning less than $100,000 per year. In a few moments, I will sign a directive instructing the Treasury Department to allow employers to defer payment of the employee portion of certain payroll taxes from September 1st. And we're actually going to be making that. We just got the word.
I'm not on a payroll.
Getting some word from a lot of people. We didn't think we'd have to do this because we thought the Democrats would be reasonable, but they've been not only unreasonable, they've been ridiculous. So we're going to make that August 1st, most likely. It'll be August 1st. We'll let you know the exact date, but we're looking like August 1st. So it'll be August 1st through the end of 2020. This will mean bigger paychecks for working families as we race to produce a vaccine and eradicate the China virus once and for all. And we're doing very good with the numbers. You see it's going down in Arizona very, very substantially and rapidly, going down in California, going down in Texas, going down in Florida.
Retroactive? Hold on.
Likely it'll be August 1st.
What?
Getting some word from a lot of people. We didn't think we'd have to do this because we thought the Democrats would be reasonable, but they've been not only unreasonable, they've been ridiculous. So we're going to make that August 1st, most likely. It'll be August 1st. We'll let you know the exact date, but we're looking like August 1st.
He's talking about retroactively.
So it'll be August 1st through the end of 2020. This will mean bigger paychecks for working families as we race to produce a vaccine and eradicate the China.
Can I get any paycheck? That would also be good.
China virus once and for all. And we're doing very good with the numbers. You see it's
Well,
going down in Arizona very, very substantially and rapidly, going down in California, going down in Texas, going down in Florida. Other areas are propping up a little bit, but we're watching them very closely. We understand the disease, and we're watching them very closely, especially our senior citizens and our senior citizens' residences. If I'm victorious,
meanwhile, he's got a couple of dozen of his own members in the room, many of them not wearing masks. But we know
on
how the
November
disease
3rd,
works.
I plan to forgive these taxes and make permanent cuts to the payroll tax. I'm going to make them all permanent. Now, Joe Biden and the Democrats may not want that. They don't want that because they're adding $3 trillion in taxes. So they'll have the option of raising everybody's taxes and taking this away. But if I win, I may extend and terminate. In other words, I'll extend it beyond the end of the year and terminate the tax. And so we'll see what happens. Biden
Why not just do it now if it's that big of a deal?
probably won't be doing that. You'll have to ask him. I don't think he knows what he's doing. Second, I'm signing it.
Because he was bicycling today, and he told Steve Ducey that was it Steve Ducey? One of the Duceys. He told him that he's going to be his vice president, and then Fox has spent all day explaining that was a joke.
An executive order directing the Department of Housing and Urban Development, HHS, and CDC to make sure renters and homeowners can stay in their homes. So I'm protecting people from eviction. Yet you've been hearing a lot about eviction, and the Democrats don't want to do anything having to do with protecting people from eviction. I said, let's do that separately. That could be a totally separate thing from passing along money so people can live. And they didn't even want to protect people from eviction.
Why would it be totally separate from passing along money so that people can live? That also sounds important. Why not do that?
So they would get evicted. It's not their fault that this virus came into our country. It's China's fault and came into the world. By the way, a lot of the people, a lot of the states that were doing the best are having some problems. A lot of the states that we weren't thinking were doing the best are doing very well. You look at some of the countries involved, some of the countries that were really standing out as examples are now exploding. But they'll get it down. They understand it. We're dealing with them. We're dealing with a lot of countries. We're providing thousands and thousands of ventilators all over the world right now. We make a lot of ventilators. We started off with very little, and we're making a lot.
We
have
more than we
thousands in
needed.
our stockpile, but we're making thousands a month. And we're providing many of them, thousands and thousands, to other countries that would never be able to get them. The Department of Housing and Urban Development will also provide financial assistance to struggling renters and homeowners and work with landlords and lenders to keep Americans safely in their homes. So we don't want people being evicted, and the bill, the act that I'm signing, will solve that problem largely, hopefully.
It's not a bill. It's not an act.
Completely. The third action I'm taking today will also provide additional support for Americans who are unemployed due to the China virus.
It's not going to be $600.
Under the CARES Act, I proudly signed expanded unemployment benefits into law. Congressional Democrats have stonewalled our efforts to extend this relief. They even opposed measures that would give bonuses to workers returning to the job. They were totally opposed to that. For this reason, I'm taking action to provide an additional or an extra $400 per week in expanded benefits. $400, okay?
$400. So he's cutting my paycheck that I also have to pay taxes on. He's cutting my unemployment money by 800, then 0.2. Let's just say, just to make it easy, $800 a month. So I now have to live on $800 a month. The money with which I've been trying to, for example, the burger place that just opened up on the corner 3 months before the virus hit, really nice people. You know what, local business, I'd like to I know I don't have a lot of money. I know I'm going to need this money at some point, but I'm trying to circulate this in the economy. So that's Now, $800 that's not going to be circulating into the economy. The restaurants are in trouble, people. More and more are closing down around the country. The original estimate was about 12%. 10% have already closed permanently. I don't. They see the Restaurant Association of America. I've been the restaurant deal, whatever. I keep checking on the site. They're very optimistic because they're trying to. Come on, everybody, we can do this. But the numbers are grim. And I do encourage you to go out there and help support local businesses. But those of us who are unemployed, every time you chop that, that's stimulus money being taken out of the economy. I'm not hoarding it, trust me.
So that's generous, but we want to take care of our people. Again, it wasn't their fault. It was China's fault.
Is it
States
generous?
will be asked to come or an extra $400 per week in expanded benefits. $400, okay?
That's $200 less.
So that's generous, but we want to take care of our people. Again, it wasn't their fault. It was China's fault.
No, it wasn't
States
my
will
fault.
be asked to cover 25% of the cost using existing funding, such as the tens of billions of dollars available to them through the Coronavirus Relief Fund. Under this plan, states will be able to offer greater benefits if they so choose, and the federal government will cover 75% of the cost.
So the money that was meant for testing and containment and tracing, etc., now that money is going to be going into unemployment. Because the federal government's just like, no, forget it, we're not going to give it to you. So they basically stealing back some of the money that they'd already designated for the coronavirus, which, gentle reminder, has killed 160,000 Americans and isn't done. 160,000 Americans.
So we're all set up. It's $400 per week, and we're doing that without the Democrats. We should have been able to do it very easily with them, but they want all of these additional things that have nothing to do with helping people. Fourth, I'm signing a directive providing relief to student loan borrowers. Earlier this year, we slashed student loan interest rates to zero. I don't know if people know that because the press doesn't ever report it, but maybe they're watching now. The press doesn't report a lot of good things that are good for the people and good for the country.
Why is that funny?
Earlier this year, we slashed student
Yeah, the press has reported this.
loans, interest rates to 0%, and suspended student loan payments, and Congress extended that policy through September 30th. Today, I'm extending this policy through the end of the year, and we'll extend it further than that, most likely right after December 1st. So we look like we're going to be extending that. They're paying zero interest. And again, not their fault that their colleges are closed down, and not their fault that they're unable to get what they bargained for.
If you're paying your student loans, you're done with your college. That's the way student loans work. While you're in college, you're in college. You're not paying your student loans. That's when you're taking the money. After you graduate, you're paying back the money. So whether your college is open or not doesn't matter to you. Who doesn't know that? Who doesn't understand how that works? Oh, that guy.
Through these four actions, my administration will provide immediate and vital relief to Americans struggling in this difficult time. And the beautiful thing about this difficult time is we're now coming back and setting records.
The beautiful thing about this difficult time.
We'll also ensure that our economic comeback continues full speed ahead, and with
So those of you who have a student loan, for example, if you took some money and you paid someone to take your SAT, right now that's 0%. 0%.
the $400 and all of the other measures that we're talking about, and we'll be signing in a little while, that will happen. We're further looking at additional tax cuts, including income tax relief, income tax cuts, and capital gains tax cuts. So we're going to be looking at that capital gains.
Oh, now that I don't have to pay my capital gains taxes, yeah, woo, party time. Hey, we're going out for dinner.
For the purpose of creating jobs, and income tax is self-explanatory, and it'll be income tax for middle income and lower income people.
they know his keepers know that he has no chance of explaining any of it, so they're just saying like, well, it's self-explanatory. Just say self-explanatory.
But middle-income people, because they pay a lot of income tax, and you do have tax inequality. I'm saying that as a Republican, and you do have tax inequality. So we're going to be looking at income tax, and we're going to be looking at capital gains tax cuts on both, and maybe substantial. And we'll be reporting back fairly shortly on that. That's big news. That's big news, but very important.
Big fake news.
We want to have our jobs flourish. We want to have our companies do great. We want to have the 401ks, which are now at a level, if you look at the stock market, it's great. If you have stocks in NASDAQ, you're higher than you ever were, including even this is still during the pandemic, the stock market, because they see such incredible things happening, smart people. The stock market is at almost an all-time high. We're just short of it, and NASDAQ is higher than it ever was. It's broken the record 14 times in the last couple of months. So 401ks are doing fantastically. I hope you kept your stocks. I hope you didn't sell. I hope you had confidence in your president and confidence that your president was going to
Stocks are still down.
Be reelected. And I will tell you this, that the biggest tailwind, the biggest problem that we have with respect to the stock market, which is not much,
is that it's still down 2,500 points. And that if you told people to buy on February 24th and they believed you, they would still be in the hole?
Much of a problem because it's doing so well, but it would be actually much higher, is the possibility that these radical left Democrats could win. And if they win, we're going to have a crash. We're going to have a terrible problem.
Again?
Because they're going to raise taxes, $3 trillion worth of taxes. And that's going to affect everybody from middle income to upper income to jobs to companies. Your 401ks will go down like a rock. Your stocks will go down like a rock. You know, and don't forget these big companies. You have stocks in the...
And yet the stock market has done better under Democratic presidents than Republican presidents for the last 60 years. But okay.
These companies, you know, you own stocks. And they have millions and millions of shareholders. And whether it's pension funds or anybody else, you all have stocks. So they're big companies, but a lot of people own that stock, and we want to keep it going. But we do have, I guess you could say, not a tailwind, it's a headwind, I guess would be a better description. But it is, it's a headwind. And when you think of it, that's, in my opinion, it would be much higher. But you look at what they want to do. They want to raise everybody's taxes, everybody. And they want to do the Green New Deal, which will decimate our country and decimate. It's ridiculous, too. It's childish. I actually say the Green New Deal is childish. Did he say socks?
Hold on.
And we want stocks in these companies. You know,
hold on.
Taxes. And that's going to affect everybody from middle income to upper income to jobs to companies. Your 401ks will go down like a rock. Your stocks will go down like a rock. You know, and don't forget these big companies.
Does he say stocks or socks?
$3 trillion worth of taxes. And that's going to affect everybody from middle income to upper income to jobs to companies. Your 401ks will go down like a rock. Your stocks will go down like a rock. You know, and don't forget these big companies. You have stocks in these companies. You know, you own stocks. And they have millions and millions of shareholders. And whether it's pension funds or anybody else, you all have stocks. So they're big companies, but a lot of people own that stock, and we want to keep it going. But we do have, I guess you could say, not a tailwind, it's a headwind, I guess would be a better description. But it is, it's a headwind. And when you think of it, that's, in my opinion, it would be much higher. But you look at what they wanted.
You guys all heard socks? At that time, when he says slocks. You guys heard socks. Okay, I do hear the T in there too, but it's really close. What is that at here? Hold on. That is at 44. Okay.
They want to raise everybody's taxes, everybody. And they want to do the Green New Deal, which will decimate our country and decimate. It's ridiculous, too. It's childish. I actually say the Green New Deal is childish.
Yeah.
It's for children. It's not for adults. Anybody that believes in that is, I don't know, maybe it's politics. I don't even think it's good politics. They seem to think, so we'll see how they do. but I don't think it's good politics, and it'll decimate our economy. We've learned a great deal about this virus and how to treat it. Our strategy is to aggressively shield those at the greatest risk while allowing younger and healthier citizens to safely resume work and school. I notice that some of the Democrats that I would say are very strongly on the left are now coming out and saying we really have to open our schools for the good of the economy. I was shocked to see a couple of them. You know who they are. We urge all Americans to socially distance and avoid large crowds and all of the things that we talk about all the
He has a crowd in the room.
time. We have to go and make sure that everything's in good shape. We really are. We're coming back very, very strong. We're doing very well with the virus because all of those states that everybody thought would be in a bad position for a long time, they're all coming down.
59,000 new cases yesterday.
Governors have done a great job. Don't forget, we're dealing with governors. Some have done a fantastic job. All have worked hard. Some have done a much better job than others, and someday, if you'd like to know, I'll give you the good ones and the bad ones. We'll give you some good ones and some bad ones. But by contrast, the never-ending lockdown being...
That's the weirdest tease, is that someday, and he does this often, someday he's going to tell us which governors are good and which governors are bad. Yeah, we'll all tune in for that.
proposed by some, mostly, I guess you could almost say almost all in the Democrat Party,
Democratic.
would inflict unimaginable harm to our people and to our health for decades to come. It'll hurt our economy, and they view that as a good thing. They actually view that as a good thing because they're interested in one date, November 3rd. And I actually think it's bad politics, and I think they're starting to come along because I'm seeing more and more people want to open up. And you see the devastating results of lockdowns, too. You know, you have depression and suicide and drugs and alcohol and bad marriages. Marriages that were very good turn out to be very bad.
Oh, no.
It's an amazing thing. It's, who would think it? But people get along for 20 years. I guess they didn't know each other very well, and now they're not getting along.
They're laughing because marriages are failing. It's hilarious.
And you had the opposite also. You've had people that get along better. They like each other more than they thought. That's okay, too.
Okay.
That we like. But the other situation is very, 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 very bad. We'll develop a vaccine.
That's the worst riff. He hasn't done one of those since it's like, and then Joe Biden says he's in Florida, and you look around, there's all palm trees. Yeah. That's not a burn. That's a nice hot towel on your face after you shave.
We're going to have it very soon, and we're ready to distribute it, and we've got the military ready. Logistics, it's called. And we'll end this pandemic. And
yeah, you know all of this is because Melania just told him yesterday, I am so fucking sick of you, Donald.
We will rebuild the greatest economy in the history of the world. You know, we created the greatest economy in the history of the world, the highest stock market.
We didn't.
Ever. And we're very close to getting that back. And that, I have to say, is way ahead of schedule.
Thank you, new patron
Highest
Phyllis.
stock market ever. Best employment numbers for African Americans, Asian Americans, Hispanic Americans. And by the way, Hispanic Americans just set a record for new jobs. African Americans just set a record for new jobs just now, during the pandemic.
They're not new jobs. They're jobs that were lost because of the pandemic that are now found. Simplest way to put it. But they were just on furlough.
Last month. And Asian Americans just set a record for new jobs. So we're very proud of what's happening.
I'm not even sure on that one, but these are club members that were just at his club for the day. They pay, I don't know, $250,000. Who cares? Anyway, he's at his club right now because, you know, he's always trying to save government money. But now he's at his club, which then we have to pay for because of the security details, etc. And that money goes into his pocket because security has to stay at the club. So that's all taxpayer money funding this, by the way, funding this rally. And the members of the club, when he gives a speech like this, they just come into the room and they line up. There's all kinds of pictures of them on Twitter. So you can see yesterday, like 3 masks out of 50 people, including kids.
happening, and I will now sign the executive action, and then if you want, we can ask a few
Executive
questions.
action.
Okay, Kelly? Yeah, let me do
questions.
this first, and then you can do some questions.
Oh, we got questions coming up. Yeah! Yeah, Tad's happy. Woo, Scooter, are you watching this? Okay.
Okay, so this is for the authorization of other needs assistance program, major disasters declaration related to the coronavirus disease.
Where's his bruise? Show his bruise on his right hand.
Okay, got it? Okay.
Oh, they're not even clapping. These guys don't know the score here. Wow, he's angry now. Why aren't they clapping? I thought they were pawns like the rest of them.
So this is
Do they have a microphone in the
already
Sharpie?
invested in me.
Yeah.
This is the payment
What did you say?
relief during the COVID. So this is authority invested in me. This is the payment
He can read.
relief during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay. I was going to skip this part, but I'm loving it.
This is fighting the spread of the COVID-19.
The what
by
of the
providing-
COVID-19? The
This
sped?
is the payment relief during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Uh-huh.
This is fighting the spread of the COVID-19 by providing assistance
The
to
COVID-19.
renters and homeowners. We're doing assistance.
I'm going to pump up the Sharpie sound. Here we go. All the way up. His Sharpies sound like a zombie in The Walking Dead.
And this is
Yeah. What is it?
deferral payroll tax obligations. So this is your payroll tax obligations, which
Thank
will
God. Oh,
end
I've
up
been waiting on
terminating
that.
eventually, right?
Uh-huh. All of this, by the way, this payroll deferral just skyrockets the national debt. And as Chris Wilson pointed out earlier in the chat over there, my arm's gone. You get rid of the payroll tax, and good luck with Social Security, which is already in trouble.
How many pictures can you take over there?
What?
I mean, you're taking hundreds of pictures. What are you doing?
Oh, how many
Okay.
pictures? He's asking the photographer how many pictures he could take.
I will. So that's the story. Would anybody like a pen? Would anybody like a pen? I do. Would anybody?
Would anyone like some
We'll
coronavirus?
hand these out to you in the back. Okay, fine.
Yeah, we're getting Sharpies! Yes! Greatest day ever! Top 2020.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir. Can we start with the $400, sir? So just wanted to get your reaction. So you're saying the states will have to cover
Call it the $200 cut, please.
some of the costs, sir. Which governors have told you that they would sign on?
Well, if they don't,
Hey,
they
Andy.
don't. That's up to them. But if they don't, they don't. That's going to be their problem.
Anyway, basically, he's halved the investment from the federal government. So $400 a week instead of $600. It was $600 a week from the federal government. Remember, the vast majority of our taxes go to the federal government, not to the states. You do not pay. Some states don't even have an income tax. So you're paying this huge sum of money to the federal government. $600 was coming from the federal government. Now it's going to be $300 plus another $100 from the states, which the states are supposed to be like, where is that? Because the states right now are like, hey, we're broke. We are asking for money because we've been spending it on all. Remember how you weren't shipping clerks? So we had to get all this COVID stuff ourselves? We had to pay for that. We don't have credit like the federal government. Some of us have balanced budget amendments.
I don't think their people will be too happy. They have the money, so I don't think their people will be too happy. But if they don't, they don't. But again, the states have the money. It's sitting there. All right, Kelly.
It is not.
Why did you decide on $400 when previously families were receiving $600?
Yeah.
That will be a hardship for many. What do you say to them?
Well, no, it's not a hardship. This is the money that they need. This is the money they want, and this gives them a great incentive to go back to work. So this was much more than was originally agreed. The 600.
Can I just put on the record here? I've been trying to go back to work. My work doesn't really exist right now, but I'm doing this right now, trying to go back to work. I'm not sitting around being disincentivized. Hey, if you'd like to help me do this kind of thing, go to kevinleefather.com, become a patron. Thanks to new patron Phyllis for becoming a new patron. I think at the $5 or the $10 level, whatever it is. Thank you very much, Phyllis. Every penny counts. And thank you very much for Chris Wilson, who has decreased his annual grant from 38 cents to 28 cents, with 18 of those cents coming from me because the money's just sitting there. And it's not a hardship. It's the money that I need. So thank you, Chris Wilson. Also, call to action, share this with a friend. This is what we do. Come on into the chat room. If you're like many people who are not in the chat room but are watching anyway, welcome. You're always welcome in the chat room. You don't have to be in the chat room. This is what we do. And if you'd like to, there's a few patrons out there who'd never come into the chat room but do support me as well. Two ways to do that, kevinleefather.com or paypal.me/kevinleedad. You can make a one-time donation via PayPal over that. Let's get back to President Karen, who was 49 minutes late.
100 was a number that was there, and as you know, there was difficulty with the 600 number because it really was a disincentive. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Mr. President.
Sir, the payroll tax.
Okay, 5 different studies found that it was not a disincentive. We have 25 to 30 million people without jobs right now. Not all of them are like, you know what? I'm getting this $600, so I'm just not going to work anymore. My own daughter was getting it. And now she's going to go back to work as a background actor, making minimum wage. She's going to almost lose money by going to work. Depends on how many days she works in a week. She might turn a little bit of a profit. But what that really means when you think about it is A, she wants to work, and B, I have to drive her. Let's put it into the real context that matters.
Cut was opposed by both parties on Capitol Hill. Can you give your rationale as to why you think that's so important, particularly since it doesn't help Americans who currently don't have jobs?
It helps people greatly. It helps our country get back. And anybody that would say anything different, I think, is very foolish. Everybody wanted it. By the way, the Democrats want it.
No, the Democrats don't want the payroll tax cut, and the Republicans don't want the payroll. Nobody wants the payroll tax cut because the government needs to bring money in. That's how it works.
The Republicans want it. They just couldn't they just couldn't come to an agreement, but everybody wants it. And the very important thing is the people want it, and the people need it, actually.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
Mr. President, you said that this will pretty much take care of the entire situation, but as you said, there's not money for reopening schools, other important items. Is your administration willing to go back to Democrats to try to actually negotiate?
Well, the answer is yes, but we have money to do other things. We have a lot of money that was unspent, and we'll be able to do things with the money that was unspent.
Why have we been borrowing all this money if there's money sitting around that's unspent? Makes no sense whatsoever.
We have significant money that was unspent, and we will be able to use that for different purposes. Go ahead.
I don't know who. I'm seeing comments towards AZ Girl, but I'm not seeing her in the chat window. Anyway, AZ Girl, I had to give up my apartment for myself and my daughter. It was $2,000 a month. So $400 a month doesn't even cover that. And because of the screwy way that the unemployment system works, sometimes I make money on W-2s. I'm an employee. Sometimes I make money 1099s. I make much more money usually with 1099s than I do as an employee. The state only takes the W-2. If I make both, let's say I make $100,000 in a year, and unemployment might be, I don't know, $600-700 a week or whatever it would be without any sort of extension. All that money that I make on my 1099s as a private contractor, it doesn't count. My daughter, same situation, Her unemployment without any sort of $600 bonus, $400 bonus, is $81 a week. How is somebody with a job who's lost their job because of China, as the president says, how are you supposed to pay your bills with $81 a week? Check your brain, because it's not working properly.
Mr. President, when will this relief get in the hands of Americans that need it? What date?
We think it's going to be very rapid. We want it to be very rapid. It's going to be distributed in a way that, whichever the fastest way, there are various methods, and it will be rapidly distributed.
You're also
Absolutely no specifics in that answer.
expecting legal
In a very, very short period of time.
challenges with this, right?
I didn't say that. No, I didn't say that.
Yesterday, sir, you said that
Yes, you did.
I
Said that yesterday.
what I said is people can do whatever they want.
Someone was going to sue. That's what you said.
I guess maybe they'll bring legal actions, maybe they won't, but they won't win. They won't win.
If legal action is brought against you on this, why not just work with Congress on this deal?
Well, I'm not saying they're not going to come back and negotiate. They might very well come back and negotiate.
You're signing an executive order today, and Americans want to know when they're going to see this relief.
Very soon. They're going to see it very soon. Look, there it is, right there. Excuse me. There it is, right there. Go ahead.
Mr. President, though, this is expected to be tied up in the court, so this relief is either going to be
That's Paula with CBS.
delayed or blocked.
I don't think
indefinitely.
so. I think this is going to go
just
very
political
rapidly through
theater?
the courts.
But
This
are
will
you
go
giving
very,
people
if we
false
get
hope?
sued, maybe we won't get sued. If we get sued, it's somebody that doesn't want people to get money. Okay? And that's not going to be a very popular thing.
Go around Congress. Are you trying to set a new precedent that the president
No,
can go around
no.
Congress and decide how
You ever
much
hear
is
the
collected
word
and spent?
obstruction? They've obstructed. Congress has obstructed.
Okay, yeah, no, Paula's absolutely right. In fact, the president was just found guilty, but it doesn't mean anything because there's absolutely no consequences. His shifting of money from the military to the wall was found to be illegal. Hasn't gotten all the way up to the Supreme Court yet because that takes months and months, and the Supreme Court might not even take it, in which case the lower court ruling will stand that it is illegal for the president to take money allocated for one thing and to spend it on his own pet projects. That's not the way the Constitution is designed at all. The Congress, the House and the Senate, has the power of the strings. They decide where money is spent. And that's the fundamental problem with all of this. And it's the Republican Senate, including Mark Meadows, the Chief of Staff, and Steve Mnuchin in the Cabinet, Secretary of the Treasury, who have been intentionally sabotaging this so that we get to the point where Trump signs this bill, and now there'll be ads tomorrow, maybe even later today, about President Trump giving everyone $400 a week. His gracious, the emperor will be driving down the road completely naked, throwing away the money.
The Democrats have obstructed people from getting desperately needed money. Go ahead, please, right here.
President,
No,
why do you
no,
keep
you're
saying
finished.
that
Go
you
ahead,
have
please.
veterans' choice?
Okay, what was that?
They've obstructed. Congress has obstructed. The Democrats have obstructed people from getting desperately needed money. Go ahead, please, right here.
President,
No,
why do you
no,
keep
you're
saying
finished.
that
Go
you
ahead,
have
please.
veterans' choice?
What did he say?
Obstruction. They've obstructed. Congress has obstructed. The Democrats have obstructed people from getting desperately needed money. Go ahead, please, right here.
President,
No,
why do you
no,
keep
you're
saying
finished.
that
Go
you
ahead,
have
please.
veterans' choice?
No, you're finished. Go ahead, please, is what he says. And the studio audience cheers.
You have veterans' choice. It was passed in 2014.
Okay, excuse me. Go ahead,
But
please.
it was a false statement, sir.
Debbie, be grateful for President Trump. Yeah, be grateful that my income has been slashed, A, because my job is eliminated because he didn't test in February, and B, because my income currently has been slashed by another $800 a month. Woo! Thank you, President Trump, for $800 less. I will never forget you. I will never turn my back on you. I will never let you down. I will be the president for all Americans. What a load of crap. Open your eyes, sheeple.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. As soon as a woman starts asking questions, boom, he's out of there. As soon as but President Trump, I hate this house. I hate this house. Let's watch that again. He runs away like a coward. Cut and run, President Trump.
Have veterans' choice.
Excellent question. Why do you keep saying that you passed Veterans Choice? Veterans Choice was passed by Obama in 2014, and Trump has started taking credit for that almost immediately after the election, and he continues to do so. But he did not.
Word obstruction. They've obstructed. Congress has obstructed. The Democrats have obstructed people from getting desperately needed money. Go ahead, please, right here.
President,
No,
why do you
no,
keep
you're
saying
finished.
that
Go
you
ahead,
passed
please.
Veterans Choice?
Please.
You said that you passed Veterans Choice. It was passed in 2014.
Okay, excuse me. Go ahead,
But
please.
it was a false statement, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
It was a false statement, sir. Okay. I hate this house. I hate this house. It was a false statement, sir. I'm out of here.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so that
YMCA.
was President Trump taking some questions
That
from reporters at the end. By the way, the
was
applause you
President
heard in the
Trump.
background was from some of the members of his golf club who were allowed to come in to watch the press conference and the signing of those executive orders. So with 4 signatures, here's what the president signed. He has reinstated or extended the additional unemployment benefits to the tune of $400 a week. He could not answer reporters as to when it will be in the hands of Americans who desperately need it, but he said it will be, quote, rapidly distributed.
Oh, I wanted to show you guys my Hate This House video, but I can't find it. Here, talks amongst yourself. By the way, my Small Business Administration loan is now offline. They offered me a small business loan to try and make up for the 1099 money that I can't have right now in the unemployment. And it's offline. Here it is. I'll show you. There you go. We're working on your application, but online status is temporary unavailable. So I have no idea what's going on with that. Okay, let's bring him back up again here. What are they saying about this? Oh, CNN will have something to say about this. I can't be on them for too long, though, because I will get a copyright
It's
strike.
just 63 cents a day.
Oh, Daniel
and
Dale.
I can tell you,
Let's go to Daniel, see what he has to say about this.
Make a difference.
$100 per week.
One of these executive orders, Daniel Dale, also was an extension of the moratorium on evictions. That is something that we...
Is he going to finally be called out on this? Is the question about Veterans Choice and the way he's been falsely claiming that that was him all along, is this going to spur people to actually take a look at that? Who is Mitch and why does he keep saying stupid things? Like, I don't read the chat usually. I don't, just to let those of you who are new here, I don't sit here like some commentators and say, hello, New Jersey. Hello, Fargo. Hello, Rapid City. Hello from... Linda's writing in from Michigan. Joanna's in Pasadena. Mitch is... oh, okay. I get it. Mitch is a troll. Look at this. Sleepy Joe. By the way, Mitch, the more you chat, the more money I make. So keep it up. Oh, and now Trump 2020 is here as well. Trump 20. That's original. What a creative name. He's my favorite now. Or she. It could be a stupid female. I don't play favorites. So what positive thing you can say? Mitch isn't even English. He's not even American. So what positive thing can you say about Mr. Hillary Clinton? He's a Russian bot. So what positive thing can you say about your Mr. Biden sleepyhead? Oh, God. I'm just going to sit here and watch Mitch. More, Mitch. Keep racking up. Did he just say that? Did he just say that, Mitch? So what positive thing he say? It's bullshit, if you ask me, Chris. Yeah, and I don't... Whoever Trump 2020 is could be male, could be female, could be a stupid male or a stupid female. I mean, one way or another, they're stupid, right? So, yeah, I'm not sexist. Could be either one. Okay, I was trying to find you guys something, and then I just started laughing at Mitch. Oh, my God, some people are so dumb. Trump 2020, 20 for fraud and 20 for murder. If that happens, I hope he lives that long. I hope Trump gets another 40 years. Let's say, no, I said could be a stupid female. Could be a stupid non-binary. I could be gender fluid. I have no idea. 160,000 dead and counting. That is the smartest thing said in the chat room today, producer Joanna. Let's go to Daniel Dale. Let's see what he has to say. Oh, you know what I was going to do? I was going to show you Obama actually signing in 2014 Veterans' Choice. I'm not going to do that. Let's listen to Daniel. He's awesome.
We've heard a lot about, and we've
posed not only.
Let's go back.
Democrats. The president saying their Democrats didn't want to protect people from eviction. Fact check that for us, if you will.
It's just not true. It's just another up and
down.
See?
Watch China. So these bots come in. They're not bots. They're people, but a lot of them are actually based in other countries. They come in and just say things like China virus, Sleepy Joe. Like they have a list of words. So we've got two of them in the same room right now. Two of them have found us. So Mitch, I want you to get up, walk about 6 desks. What are they called? Cubes. 6 cubes down to your comrade, and let Trump 2020 know that you're already covering this. So we have a bot in here already.
You know, the opposite of reality false claim. Democrats have proposed not only extending that moratorium on evictions, but providing substantial rental assistance to tenants. So they have wanted to provide significant help, and Trump is just wrong. Another thing I'd like to mention is that Trump claimed when he was told that he expects legal challenges on these orders,
I am in Minneapolis. Go Minneapolis sports team.
That I didn't say that. He said that yesterday. He said, I think we'll probably get sued. And this is a long-standing pattern of the president denying he said things that he said in public on camera.
Yes, things that we have on tape that we can all go back to and see over and over again. You're right, Daniel. One of these other executive orders is a payroll tax.
Let's go forward. I only want to see Daniel. He's Canadian. So, you know, really trustworthy source. Boop, 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 boop. Come on, let Daniel speak. Oh, there's the biker rally in Sturgis. You know, everyone's like, oh, is there going to be an outbreak because of the bikers rally?
With us for your expertise.
Unlikely, unless they all go inside. You know, if they all park their bikes outside somewhere and go inside.
Rally?
Then,
You just heard Dr. Ryan.
Yeah, so there's nobody on all these bikes. Where are they? If they're just walking up and down the street, if they're out in a field somewhere, probably be okay, because that seems to be the way coronavirus is working. We learned everything. Minneapolis. That's right. That's the American way to say it. Not commie. I was born in Iowa. Okay. Let's see what's going on the other stations here. Probably nothing. There's a hockey game. I don't want to ruin it for you. I'm going to go back and forth quickly. Okay, everybody's on ads. I was going to show you guys the Obama thing. I had a big plan of things to do today. I got to fix a window. There's yard work to be done. A woman's work never ends. Okay, so let's see. All right, so I will probably shut up for now. This has been over an hour of broadcasting. If you'd like to support us, Mitch, if you're enjoying this broadcast, keep chatting, because that actually increases my ability to be seen on YouTube. It wasn't working earlier today. I was a little worried, but now it seems to be working fine. So I appreciate everybody coming in here, everybody who watched and didn't chat, everybody who is chatting. It all helps. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. More importantly, according to producer Joanna, I'm supposed to tell people to tell a friend. Also, big thanks to Danielle, if she's in here, for being a moderator. Dr. Howard for being a moderator. I don't know if Dr. Howard's still in there. I don't know who's in here. I don't really pay that much attention. But also, I want to thank Mitch Smith, #1 American name, Mitch Smith, for joining us all the way. I guess it's probably, like 2 in the morning where you are. So that's really great that you stay up this late. We appreciate that. And it's nice that you share with Mitch McConnell your name. That's if you had to pick the name right there, that's a good one. Better than Rand. So I will let you guys go. If you'd like to contribute to this, go to kevinleefather.com or make a one-time payment, paypal.me/kevinleedad. I don't think I need that now, because Trump has just given me $400 of the money that I need, which is better than $600 he's told me. So That's fantastic. So have a great Saturday, everybody. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow. Maybe we won't. Yeah, you know what? I think I'll probably do Spilling Coffee with Kevin Lee in the morning tomorrow. We'll see. A lot of Sunday shows to watch and stuff. Anyway, take care, everybody. Love you all. Mean it. We'll talk to you later.
Kevin, is this helpful to Joe Biden?